Have you ever wanted to listen to two random dudes on the internet talk about their views?
Well, I'm Matt.
And I'm Bill.
And this is the Two Dudes with a View podcast. Everyone, welcome to episode 11, I believe it is, of the Two Dudes with a View podcast. I've lost count. It's so many of them. As always, my name is Matt, and I'm joined by my lovely long friend, who happens to be extremely old as well, Bill. Bill, how's it going?
Old, he says. I'm not old. I'm just experienced.
Is that what they call it?
So I'm calling it.
Oh, well, I guess that works for me. How you doing today, Bill?
Sucks. Today has been a long day.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
I had to be to work at 7, but my ass got up at 4:30 for no apparent reason.
Sounds about right. Yeah, I was up pretty early too. Not on purpose, but for about the same reason you were. Just because, you decide to get up early, and then that's about it, and you can't go back to sleep. So
yeah.
Anywho, we got a great episode for you today. Got 4 great topics. I would say some of them are funny, but actually none of them are. It's one of those episodes where it's going to be a serious type of day. So we're going to jump right into it. But first, we have to talk about it because they're going to go on strike if we don't, Bill. How's the weather?
Yeah. Well, actually, it hasn't rained in a while, but, well, I lie. I think it rained like 3 days or 4 days ago. Matter of fact, it was right before the Thursday episode. And went to work and found out that there's a church up the road from where I work at. They thought a tornado landed, but the building like had its roof ripped off and the church caught on fire. Turns out I forget what they call it now, downdraft winds or something. It's like a tornado, but not, because it's just a massive amount of air coming from the sky. And I think it's like a downdraft or
sure
downburst winds or something like that.
But
it messed up the church pretty bad.
We actually it was the same cell that you had. We talked about this a little the other day, but same cell you had, not around me, but like an hour and a half, 45 minutes north of me. They actually had a couple of confirmed tornadoes. Didn't do a whole lot of damage because that's in the middle of nowhere and maybe 4 people live up there, but they did have some confirmed tornadoes, and there was some pretty good hail damage. We had actually probably 20 minutes from me, they recorded softball size hail, which is impressive for around here.
Not good for your car, I'll tell you that.
Oh no, not at all. We actually had a house too, right up the road, a couple miles from me. Got really old tree. Actually looked like a really nice tree, like it was healthy and everything. Fell on their house. They're all right, whatever. But house is a little banged up. That's all. But yeah, it was a strong one up here. I mean, it lasted for probably damn near 12 hours on and off. With
well, the thing about ours, like I heard, it was like 9:30 at night. I heard the thunder and shit, and I could hear all the slamming and banging. But that wasn't the worst. The worst was over throughout the night. So apparently I slept through the worst part of the storm. So thank God there wasn't no tornado, or I might have...
I'm the same way as you. I sleep like a rock when there's storms out there. Like, I probably sleep better when a tornado is imminent. I don't know why, but I guess it's like I accept whatever's going to happen at that point.
Yeah, well, I ain't running from the damn thing, I'll tell you that.
I ain't running from it, so might as well just enjoy what you enjoy the most, and that's sleeping. No one can bother you when you're sleeping.
We have a basement / garage, but if a tornado comes through and rips the house apart, it's just going to rip the floor, which is a wood floor on top of the garage.
Yeah,
so...
I understand the advice, like, hey, if there's a tornado coming, get to the centermost room in the lowest part of the house, but really, some of these houses that I see, the there is no lower part, and even if there is, like you said, it's just gonna rip it all to shreds anyway. So, whatever. It's good advice. Just get to the center of the house, lowest point, basement, preferably.
Or this one here. Get out of your car and lay in a ditch.
Yeah. I mean,
I ain't doing none of that.
I guess going for a ride before you die is nice, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh, look, a tornado. Let's get out and lay in the ground where it's rainy and
We
hail and
we ain't in
lightning.
Kansas no more. Tell you that.
Yeah, I ain't doing none of that.
Anywho, we got, like I said, 4 good topics. We're going to kick it off by some news out of Virginia, Hopewell, Virginia, to be specific, where 4 federal inmates escaped prison. Yes, so we're recording this Sunday. You'll hear it tomorrow, Monday. Escaped prison at about, just shy of 2 a.m. on Saturday. 1:45 is what they're calling it. And these are not your most stellar individual. I mean, granted, they're in federal prison, so what do you expect? But they're not your 4 most stellar inmates. They escaped from the Federal Correctional Complex at Petersburg Satellite Camp. Now, I have no clue where that is. All I know is it's somewhere in Hopewell, Virginia, according to them. And it's a minimum security prison, which is honestly not surprising with this. Housing about 185, now 181 inmates for the time being. Well, actually, it'll probably be 181. They're going to go to a maximum security once they get caught. But about 185 male inmates that this place houses. And again, these are 4 just lovely individuals that escaped. Bill, I'm going to read these names and what they're in for, and I just want you to tell me if there's a common occurrence that you see here. Okay?
Yep.
Corey Branch, 41 years old, was serving 160 months for possession with intent to distribute fentanyl and a felon in possession of a firearm. Those were his 2 charges. Now I'm going to butcher some of these names. Tavarius LeJohn Graham, 44 years old, serving a 120-month sentence for possession with intent to distribute 500 grams or more of cocaine and 28 grams or more of cocaine base, as well as possession of a firearm in furtherance of a drug trafficking crime. Lamont Rashawn Willis, 30 years old, serving a 216th month sentence for possessing and concealing a stolen firearm and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. And Kareem Allen Shaw, 46 years old, 194-month sentence for conspiracy to possess with intent to distribute a measurable quantity of heroin. Any common characteristics you see there?
Well, aside from the guy on the last name you read, they all like to have guns, and it seems like they all like drugs. So
Yeah. I mean,
let's
just
put them back out.
yeah.
Let's put them, guys with guns or that carry guns, probably know how to use them too. Let's put them in a medium security satellite camp, whatever.
It's a minimum security, not even medium, minimum. Yeah, I don't know what a satellite camp is either, but yeah, when at least Willis was a convicted felon previously because the sentence he was serving was possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, so he's at least been through the ringer once or twice at 30 years old. But they're all kind of like old dudes, 41, 44, 46. I mean, Willis is 30, but they're all getting up there. But yeah,
they're all serving like average 5-year sentences right around.
Well, and if you look like Branch, possession with intent to distribute fentanyl, Graham, possession with intent to distribute 500 grams or more of cocaine and 28 grams or more of cocaine base. And then Shaw, sentence of conspiracy with possession with intent to distribute a measurable quantity of heroin. So between them, they have heroin, fentanyl, what was the other one? Cocaine, and then firearms.
Yep, they seem like
I don't see anything that I don't see anything that could go wrong here. I mean, not at all.
No,
and they're in Virginia. They're in Virginia too, so I mean, pretty much go any way, and you're gonna get one, if not all 4 of those. So they escaped Saturday. They're roaming about. The FBI, DEA, marshals, local police, state police, the whole 9 yards. They're out looking for them.
they'll get found because they'll be stupid and do something stupid
Oh,
like
they'll
rob a store or a bank or something.
I don't even think they'll do that. I think they'll just be stupid enough to get high on something, and then while they're high on something, they're gonna try to pick a fight. Like you said, maybe not rob something, but pick a fight, and that fight's gonna lead to them. Or they're just gonna be stupid enough and get a gun while they're high and try to shoot at a cop or something, and we all know how that ends. Just ask the two that escaped Dannemora like 10 years ago in New York, so they'll tell you how that went.
Yeah, well, one of them will, the other can't.
Well, yeah, I mean, he could tell you.
He's a little preoccupied being dead.
Yeah, he would have told you, but yeah, there's lead poisoning gets him every time, you know?
Yep.
So yeah, if you're in Virginia, just be careful. You know, you got 4 convicted drug dealer. I would say drug dealer. I mean, the only one that didn't have some sort of drug charge was Willis, and he's just a convicted felon that had a firearm. So he's the.
What was his felony before, though?
I don't know.
So
no one knows.
It could have been drugs. So
well, here's how I think this is gonna go. Okay, I think Lamont, who was the 30-year-old that was the convicted felon, I think he's the muscle of the group, right? He's got the previous felonies. He's got the firearm charges. He's the muscle. He's gonna be the one, the enforcer. He's gonna take them all out. I think either Graham or Branch. Graham was the one that had the 500 grams of cocaine. Branch was the one that had possession of fentanyl and the felon in possession of a firearm. One of those two is going to be the ringleader, right? They're going to be the ones that make all the decisions. And then Shaw, who was the one that had the measurable quantity of heroin, he's just, you know, manpower. He's along for the ride, you know? That's how I think this is going to work out. You got.
Well, I guess if you're in Virginia and you see 4 people dressed kind of the same, stay away from them.
Yeah, maybe call that lovely number, call 911. That would probably be helpful too. But then again, I mean, we know how the Federal Bureau of Prisons are. They suck. So, is this even surprising at this point? Not really.
Not really. No, because
not at all.
Like we talk about it all the time about New York. You know, with the appearance tickets. Well, this takes the cake. Now you got a bunch of federal inmates, like people that the government are holding.
Yeah.
And they just walked away.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what a satellite camp is, unless that means that somewhere miles away there's people sitting in an air-conditioned building.
Yeah, so
watching them on satellite.
If you watch the YouTube version of this, which will come out a few days after, I'll put the mugshots of all 4 of them up there. Bill, I'll actually send this to you right now so that you can, you know, look at it while we're doing this. I'll send you this article from NPR, so it's a reliable source, of course. But yeah, I mean, listen. Again, like Bill said, we talk about the fact that bail reform is not great, specifically in New York. And if we look at the people they're letting out, and I think I mentioned it in one of these other episodes when we were talking about this, there was a dude in close to me, like 5 minutes away from me, got arrested 75 times over the course of a weekend, Friday to Sunday. 72 hours, got arrested 75 times. He got arrested more times than there were hours. That's ridiculous. And now, if we look at the federal side, we're just, you know, minimum security felons. That, you know, we're just putting felons with possession of enough fentanyl and heroin and cocaine to kill, like, the entire Mexican cartel themselves. Just minimum security? Yeah, it's great. Just, you know. I want to look, though. I'm looking this, while we're doing this, I'm looking this prison up.
Well, these guys aren't going to be easy to hide.
No, and again, if you're looking at if you're watching the YouTube version, you've seen the pictures already, but yeah, they're not easy to hide at all. Like, 2 of them actually look like the same. Kinda.
Yeah. Branch and Shaw look like twins.
Yeah. And then Willis, he's got more hair than I would dream of having. And Graham's got a beard that is easily... you know who he reminds me of? Graham? He reminds me of that New York City subway guy with that beard.
Yeah.
He looks pretty close. So yeah, if you see any of these four individuals, those three lovely numbers, 911. Actually, it's only two numbers, but 911. Dial it. There's no reward out for him yet, but you would just be doing a common courtesy type deal. That's all. People don't want to deal with this. I am looking up though, and I mentioned that I'm looking up this camp. So it is a what it is there's a. I'm just going to describe it. There's three jails on this property. Okay. The first one is Riverside Regional Jail, and I'm guessing that's like the county complex. Looks like it's got 5 pods surrounding like a hexagon shape, pentagon shape, whatever you want to call it. And then there's FIC Petersburg, which is a medium security prison right next to it. It looks like it's got 6 pods. And then right next to that is FCI Petersburg Low, which has 7 pod type deal, but it looks like college dorm room camps. I do see a better football field than my high school had for the longest time, including a running track all the way around it. And what looks to be that's a baseball field as well. So they were living great. Also, there's a Unicor warehouse, which for those of you who don't know, Unicor is like the federal prison workman thing where people get paid like 5 cents a day to make license plates and hand sanitizer. So clearly this was a place that there wasn't a lot of restraints on. So yeah. Minimum security prisons for felons convicted of firearms and drug dealing. Welcome to the United States of America, people. I love it. Anywho, let's move on to a more somber mood. Bill, I'm going to kick it to you for this one because you know a little bit more about this, but just right over to you because this is something that you found and you want to talk about.
Well, so it's a weird year, right? And I didn't know nothing about it until I think it was yesterday or maybe the day before. Somebody at work told me about it, and I was like, I don't know if matter of fact, it was Friday. So I looked it up on my phone, and sure enough, it was that Toby Keith made an announcement saying that he has stomach cancer, and that he was canceling the remainder of the tours, or like the performances on his tours for the remainder of the year, while he gets chemo and radiation and all that stuff. But I guess what he at least is alluding to is that it's very treatable in the stage that it's at, and he looks forward to being back on tour beginning of next year. So that's pretty shitty that, like I don't want to say I grew up with Toby Keith, like listening to him, but for the past 20 years or something, he's been around with songs all the time.
I didn't like you said. I didn't listen to him. Like I wasn't I'm not a strict country music fan. I like 70s and 80s stuff specifically, but he's got some really good songs that I do like. So I have listened to his music quite a bit. But yeah, that just he's a great dude. He does a lot for specifically like military and first responders. I can't even count how many times he's assisted in bringing a military member home from overseas for a wedding anniversary or Christmas or whatever it might be. Can't even count how many times he's done that. But I do wonder if part of this is because of his he's not like some of the guys now where they're on tour 364 out of 365 days a year. But I wonder if that is part of like the tour lifestyle which caused it, because stomach cancer, and I just looked this up because I was curious, and I actually didn't know what the leading cause was. But from Johns Hopkins, which is a very trustable medical university, said there are many things, including diet and the lifestyle that someone lives, that can cause stomach cancer. So I wonder if part of that is because of, going on tour and doing all of these things that a popular musician or whatever might do. I wonder if that's part of it.
Well, I'm sure like he's already pretty much come out and admitted like he likes to drink and he likes to indulge in the smoky.
Yeah.
So,
well,
and like for me, I think I eat hot shit like it's going out of style. Carolina Reaper, ghost peppers, doesn't matter. I eat it.
God bless you.
Plus, I drink beer every single day. So I'm sure if I don't have stomach cancer, I have whatever it is that eats it.
Well,
what sucks, like what put Toby Keith was I guess he was well known before the song came out, but shortly after 9/11 he did the song called Courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue.
Yep.
And that kind of like threw him into the stratosphere because that was a time, and you were too young for it, but you probably know about it just because it's part of our culture now. But that's a time when there was really no hate in the United States anymore. Like everybody's hate towards one another went away because we had a new thing to hate. So that song became the anthem of the United States. That would play everywhere. It played at presidential inaugurations, or not inaugurations, but the little after party thing they do.
Yeah.
They would play at baseball fields, football fields. Did like a halftime show or something like that with it.
Well, he's got so many songs, like, again, Courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue, and then Red Solo Cup really threw him essentially back on because that was 10 years later, something like that. That was like 2012 or 13.
A good drinking song. Yeah,
so Red Solo Cup really threw him back on there, and then he's got a bunch of them, like Beer for My Horses. That would be your anthem right there. Whiskey for My Men, Beer for My Horses. That would be something you would do.
Yeah.
You would drink with your horses if you had a horse. Yeah. You wouldn't know how to handle a horse, but you know.
Oh, I could go on about a horse story, but
I'm good. And then he's got American Soldier. That's a really good one too. That came out shortly after. I think that was on the same album as Courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue.
It might have been. I don't really like I said, I'm not a huge fan of them. I know some of the songs. Like if the music hits, I could sing it word for word.
Okay, so I just looked it up. Courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue came out in 2002. American Soldier came out a year later in 2003 on a different album. And Beer for My Horses came out with Courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue in 2002. Yeah, so... And then Red Solo Cup 2011, so I was close, 10 years later. But yeah, he's 60 years old. So he's that's about the age, unfortunately, when these types of things start popping up.
Yeah, they say that, and this is why I think they're saying, or at least he's saying that it's not. It's very true. Well, that it is very treatable is because people age 65 and older, and I don't know how cancer knows how old you are. But apparently people 65 years and older it's rougher on them than it is for, like, say, you went to the doctors tomorrow and they told you that you had stomach cancer. Apparently you'd be better suited to fight it and handle it's probably the treatment, huh? Like probably the radiation and stuff.
Yeah, the chemo and all that.
The older you get, the more, the less your body is receptive to things, so.
Yeah, I mean... Again, like you said, he drinks a lot. Clearly, he's got a massive drinking song that he has. And then, the lifestyle. So I guess if this is anything, stay healthy, people. Eat lots of vegetables, I guess. Or follow Bill and just drink a bunch of beer every day. I mean, hey, whatever floats your boat. I'm not gonna hate on you.
So far, it's working for me, but I'm not 60-some years old, so
give it time. You'll get there at some point. Maybe. You never know. You never know. Anything can happen. You could hit by a bus tomorrow.
Well, that's not going to happen because we don't have buses up here.
Well,
school's out for summer, so.
School's out for summer. Wow, they got another week here. Graduation weekend's next weekend for everyone. And again, it's just that stupid state testing stuff. You know, they canceled I'm going to go on a little bit, like a 2-minute rant here. They canceled one of the history. So our state testing is called Regents, New York State Regents testing. And every year it happens twice. There's some that happen in January, like the English Regents and whatnot. And then there's the majority of them that happen in the like last 2 weeks of school, and like again we're in them right now, so it was happening last week and this week, and those are like the history and the math regencies, so on and so forth. This year they canceled the regents for New York State high school regents for history and government, U.S. history and government, following the response of the mass shooting in Buffalo, as, quote, experts determined that there was content on the new Regents examination that has the potential to compound student trauma caused by violence in Buffalo, which created an unexpected and unintended context for the planned assessment, end quote. Now, I don't know what this, I haven't seen the test because usually they only release them if, once the test is over. But are we really, if we come to the point where we have to, start canceling state testing because there might be a issue in relation to a mass shooting?
Well, I just think the person who does the shooting is an idiot, and the people that are analyzing it after are overanalyzing it and trying to point the finger at anything that's educational and saying, we got to get rid of that because that's teaching them bad things. We got to teach them what we want to teach them.
Well, I just find it, I knew it was bound to happen at some point, but I just find it amazing that we have now started teaching about mass shootings in U.S. history for high schoolers.
Yeah, let's teach about that, right? Let's teach about people that go out and kill people, but let's don't teach the important stuff that matters. Like, history isn't American history, it's the world history. If it happens in the United States, it's still kind of global history, like 9/11. That happened here, but that affected everybody around the world, except for the people that did it.
Yeah.
People that supported it.
Exactly. No, again, I just, it was bound to happen at one point, and we kind of figured this out, and we knew this was coming, that we were going to start talking about mass shootings, but I just find it a little sensitive. Now, again, I don't know what... Quite frankly, there could have been a question on there that says, hey, how do you feel about mass shooting? Obviously, that's not, because that's opinion-based, but, something like that. I just find it interesting that we had to cancel the entire Regents. Instead of changing a question or two, maybe, we just had to cancel the entire thing. I wish. Now, I graduated high school in 2019. I wish I graduated in 2020, 2021, or even 2022, because, quite frankly, these Regents tests that I needed to pass in order to get into college were either canceled or have become so politically correct and short that it would have been so easy. I probably could have gotten to like Harvard or Yale. Not that I would have, anyways. But
honestly, this is going to sound messed up, but ever since Trump became president, once he became president, everything became political.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%.
Because in my lifetime, from Obama all the way back to Reagan, nobody gave a shit what the president did.
No.
Because it didn't affect them. But now, somebody says something on Twitter and everybody blows up, and they can specifically say this one person did it and that's his personal opinion. And people agree with it or disagree with it. Now we just have people acting a fool. Like, you had the whole January 6th thing, which regardless, that was still a terrible situation.
Yes.
And then you had all the stuff out west where they took a whole damn city, and they took a city hostage.
Yeah.
And then the stuff in Kenosha, and it seems like it's getting a little bit more dangerous.
As you get more tired.
Yeah.
Long day for you, I understand. But yeah,
Dedicated to the cause, though. Here we are.
Exactly. But, we've gotten to become, and maybe we could talk about this Thursday on our unscripted Thursday episodes. Not that these are scripted, but we've become very what's the appropriate word? Sensitive as a society. Yeah, I mean that works too. We've been very sensitive recently, and then when we try to be too sensitive, we have issues like, occupying an entire city or burning it down. But I digress. Anyways, we're going to move on before we get into another 4-hour rant here, because we could go on for hours. I want to talk about something that, quite frankly, we talked about in Thursday's episode, which we went on a rant and then somehow ended up talking about gas stations at the end. Again, go check out the Thursday episodes, because, quite frankly, anything can happen there, and we'll talk about those more at the end. But we talked about this Thursday. We talked about this on one of the first episodes. We talked about this in one of the other episodes. We've talked about it like 3 or 4 times, but it went on a hiatus, and that's why I brought it up Thursday. But now we got more information about the whole Russia-Ukrainian war deal, conflict, whatever you want to call it. I don't even think it's a war at this point. Who knows? Again, I digress. But NATO's chief, who is in charge of essentially not overseeing conflicts, but monitoring conflicts and so on and so forth, he came out the other day that this conflict, war, whatever you want to call it, could last for, quote, years. And the only thing I immediately thought of was we're going to have another war like we had in Afghanistan, where this is just never going to end for 20 years and just everyone's going to be involved, but no one really does anything over there. That's just what I think is going to happen. There's too many details that line up here, right? Someone wants to overthrow the current government, essentially, in layman's terms. That government's fighting back. Initially, we're just giving weapons, and then over the next 20 years, we're slowly going to become, in there, and then we're going to have a horrible pullout that leaves a bunch of people dead, including a bunch of armed service members, and then we're going to say thoughts and prayers and just leave it to happen all again. I think that's pretty summed up accurately.
Yeah, this is going to end when one of the 2 leaders dies.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't even see that. Honestly, at this point, if Putin dies, I think, like right now, I say lightly, we're like a 50-50 split. Like if you were putting money on this, not that you should, but if you're putting money on who's going to win this, I think we're at a 50-50 split here, because one week Russia does really well, and then the next week Ukraine does really well, and it kind of just balances it out. At least from what I've been seeing with like land and territory gained and casualties, so on and so forth. But if Putin dies, I think that goes to like a 75-25 split with Ukraine coming out. If Zelensky dies, I think that only goes to like 60-40 though for Russia. I think Ukrainians are just damn right pissed at this point, and no matter what, they're just going to now fight harder. I think they're still going to get creamed if that happens, unfortunately, which is sad, but I don't see them just giving up if Zelensky dies. Granted, he was a great movie actor, so maybe he'll like fake his own death and then still call the shots, and maybe that'll weigh the other side. I mean, hey, that's a possibility. Just fake your own death and then still call the shots, so the enemy thinks that you're dead, but you're really not.
I mean, yeah.
It's unconfirmed, but didn't Hitler, just kind of disappear one day and was never heard from again? No one really found his body.
They say they burn it and buried it.
Yeah, I'll believe that when I see it.
Same as Bin Laden. We killed him. Nobody's seen the body. We dumped the body in the ocean.
Yeah, well, I mean, that one I kind of... Well, we won't get into conspiracy theories here, but I mean, that one's kind of believable. Although I do find it hard to believe that special operations helicopter pilots crash a helicopter, during this mission, and somehow no one tends to hear that. I mean, that's a little sketchy. But again,
Before that 2 blocks away from one of the biggest military places in Pakistan. They didn't know that the world's most dangerous criminal was right down the road.
Yeah, I mean that's we can have this discussion later before we do a deep dive. But yeah, there was again conspiracy theories up the wazoo out of both of these. Anywho, yeah, I agree with you though. I think this is either gonna it's definitely gonna sway the odds if one or the other dies, or it's just gonna end it for one of the other sides if the other person dies. But yeah, he said this could last for years, and the first thing I immediately thought of was the war in Afghanistan lasting, for years. Kind of started very similar, in this case, well, the war in Afghanistan, obviously 9/11 happened, and that was kind of a major component to that. In this case, it really wasn't a major terrorist attack instead of just an overnight invasion, but kind of the same thing. We started by supplying weapons and ammo, and then we slowly inserted ourselves in there, and then had a horrible pullout after 20 years. I mean, it's just another day in the office, don't you think?
Well, hell, back in the, what was it, the 80s, the United States supplied the Taliban with weapons to fight the Russians.
Yeah. And then they,
Fast forward a couple years.
they kind of turned that on us, didn't they?
Yeah.
I mean, well, it is what it is at this point. Again, 10 years. My guess is 10 years that we continue to see this. Maybe by next year we'll stop talking about it every episode, and then, and every 5 years we'll revisit it until we're, until it's actually done and we have a horrible pullout, and then we have some horrible news about more service members dying in a horrible, horrible planned mission. Yeah, I mean, just what it is. Anywho, on to the person that's going to make those decisions. Well, probably not, but if he keeps falling off bikes, he won't. Joe Biden. I laughed a little. It's probably bad to laugh when someone potentially hurts themselves, but I kind of laughed a little when I saw the video. And then they put it in slow-mo, and then they put a Make America Great Again hat hitting him, and then I kind of really laughed. It is what it is. Anywho, Biden out for I was going to call it a Sunday stroll, but it wasn't really a Sunday stroll. Anyways, it was a Sunday stroll on his bike with his wife. They were in Delaware, getting ready to celebrate whatever wedding anniversary it is. I don't even know how many years it's been. Out on a bike ride, just enjoying the weather, And he went to stop and talk to a group of people that had gathered, and without even moving, you could see he put his left foot down, and then he just like someone put a wind machine on him. Just the wind knocked him over. Boop, and down he went. Just still sitting on his bike, holding onto the handles and everything. Just and tipped right over to his right side, and just kind of laid there for a minute while Secret Service rushed over to make sure he was all right. But it's just. He said he was all right. He got up, talked with some crowd goers there, many of whom, from at least the video, appeared to not be happy with him. Some of which did seem to be happy with him, but that's, again, besides the point. However, this entire thing kind of questions, A+ for trying to be active, I guess, in bike riding. D- for being athletic enough and healthy enough, I guess. He said he got his foot, and I don't know how well I believe this because his his left foot clearly came out and put his foot on the ground, but he said he got, quote, "I got my foot caught," referring to the tire cages, whatever you want to call them, that are on the pedals to keep your foot on, so when you're pedaling it's not crazy and your foot just doesn't go flying off, which was probably good for him. But kind of questions is he you can't even ride a bike or stand up without really needing help to get off of it type deal? I think that's an accurate summary of this. I don't know.
He has a foot problem.
Yeah.
He fell up the steps of Air Force One,
Yep.
going up to Air Force One.
Not once. Not
Yeah,
couple
so
times.
twice,
Two
I
or
think it was.
3 times. Yeah.
Then he stumbles. Well, wasn't it even while he was campaigning? Didn't he Didn't the dog trip him
Yeah.
and he broke his foot?
Yeah. Something like that. I can't remember the exact details, but yeah, something like that.
And now he falls off of a bike.
Yeah. I mean, he is 79 years old.
Yeah, it's not nice to pick on old people and stuff, even and to boot, it's the president of the United States. But I mean, that's the guy making the important decisions, the guy that can't stay on the bike.
Yeah, I mean, and it's been unconfirmed, obviously, but there have been reports that he's expected to run in 2024, which we kind of knew was going to come if he can make it that far, without falling off a bike again. But he's expected to run again. So can you imagine? We're in 2022 now, so 2 more years. 2024 comes, which means we have him. If he wins, we'd have him till 2028, which would be astonishing, wouldn't it?
He'd be 86 years old.
Yeah.
In office.
Yeah. Which is quite impressive, to be honest with you. It's just little concerning that about the health of said person.
Yeah, I hate to see something like that happen, but
I saw an interview that he and Obama did, like when Obama was president and he was the vice president, however, in 7 years ago, something like that it was. And he seemed, granted, it's been, I think it was like 6 or 7 years since this interview happened, but he was very energetic. He wasn't stumbling over his words. He was walking like, he wasn't doing that slow kind of old man walk where he kind of drags his feet and scuffs his feet across the ground. He seemed very like lively. Flash forward again 6 or 7 years, which a lot can change in that time. I'll be honest there, a lot can change. But it's clearly there's a big difference between 6 years ago, 7 years ago, and now. And I can't imagine 6 years further from now. That would be a little scary, I think. But hey, I guess let the man do what he wants to do as long as he doesn't push the big red button. That's my thing. Or make more stupid laws. That would be another thing.
well, my only problem is he got to do something about gas. I don't give a shit about any other policy he has. He can come up with whatever policy he wants. Just come on, man. This gas shit's getting out of hand.
Well, so we talked about last week's episode. We talked about how gas had reached $5 a gallon. It came down a little. It's now like $4.86 around here, which is still not cheap at all. But it came down, I guess. I mean, that's.
Well, they say I seen a thing that said that this and this was, I don't even know how long ago it was. It wasn't that long ago, but it pretty much said it was comparing dates from like this time in 2021 and this time in 2022. It was, I almost shit myself because it was like this time in 2020, gas prices were at $2.76 a gallon. Fast forward 2 years, they doubled in price.
Oh yeah. Trust me, my wallet's not loving me because, and maybe this is the same for you, but it seems like every time gas prices go up, the more I have to travel also goes up. I don't know if that's like a coincidence or whatnot, but it's occurred to me every time the gas prices continue. Like, for instance, 4 or 5 weeks ago, right, the gas prices went up to like $4.80 something for a week and a half. And my travel increased. Not because I wanted it to, just because I needed to for work or whatever. And then it dropped back down to like, again, $4.60 something, whatever it was. And my travel just magically decreased at that time. And then flash forward, it went to literally $4.99 is what I paid the other day, like a week ago when we made that episode 10. And my travel just mysteriously went up again. And now that it's like $4.80 something, I haven't traveled in 6 days. besides going back and forth to work. I haven't gone anywhere extra. I just
Yeah, no, I have this problem where when I need gas, it's expensive. But
yeah.
as soon as I put gas in the next day, it goes down and I don't need it.
Yep, sounds about right. Yep, I don't know what it is, but it just seems like I magically get busy and need more gas when the prices are 20 cents higher than they were the day or the week before when I didn't have to go anywhere. So, coincidence? I don't think so. I'm just saying that
Seem too coincidental.
if we had a line chart to show you, it would be pretty consistent. Granted, the government has no control over that. Just quite frankly, that's just I have to travel more at those points in time. It's weird for me, you know. It's just weird, and honestly, quite concerning at times, specifically for my my bank account because you know we're still getting paid the same, even though I'm paying other people more. Just I love it. I love it, love it. No, I actually hate it. It's the worst thing in the world. Just, please, someone open the damn pipeline. We've said it before. Just, I told a buddy of mine the other day. I said, gas keeps going up. I'm going to put a damn oil rig right in the backyard of my house, refine my own gas, and then I'll sell it to my neighbors cheaper than they can buy it. I'll be a millionaire. Millionaire.
Hell yeah.
Even if it's 10 cents cheaper, they'll still buy it from me. Yeah, hell, you would probably drive up and buy it from me.
Well, that's this thing that pisses me off, right? Is there's 3 gas stations around me. I only go 4, but 2 of them are family members. Like one's a brother and one's a sister, and they run 2 separate stores.
So it's kind of like the same franchise without being a franchise almost.
Yeah, and the prices are always through the damn roof.
That sounds about right.
Then there's a place that's like a grocery store and a hardware store that's here. They used to be pretty decent. And then there's a Unimart, like a convenience store, that's way out of the way for me. And their prices are always seem to be the cheapest now.
Well, I mean that seems about. So the closest gas station to me is like a mile down the road, but it's just like you said, they're super expensive. Although their pizza, amazing. I'll pay the extra like 50 cents for their pizza than I would like anywhere else. Slice of pizza, oh my god, it's amazing. Anywho, yeah, their gas prices are always insane. But if I want anywhere else, I have to go 15 minutes the next, any other direction and buy it there. And I always end up. I've always been told not to. Maybe it's a conspiracy theory, but I really don't think it is. I've always been told don't buy gas when they're filling the tanks. When the truck's there filling the tanks, because it just stirs all that junk up at the bottom and there's a chance it gets in your gas tank. It seems like every time I drive that 15 minutes to get cheaper gas, or I'm going that way anyways, and I see, oh, it's cheaper, so I'll fill up. It seems like they're always there pumping gas too, like filling the tanks.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if you've heard that conspiracy theory or whatever you want to call it, but
I've heard that, and I've also heard that when they're filling it, is the best time to do it because you're getting fresh gas then.
I see that was my thought, but then the whole they're dumping it in, right, and specifically like when they first start, the tank's like pretty close to empty because they got to fill that whole truck in there. The tank's pretty close to empty, so they're stirring all that bottom rust and junk and whatever else is in there up, so then it's getting through the pipes more and all that fun stuff. And then you have all that sitting in your gas tank, and it goes back to cars aren't built, anything's not built the same as it used to. That's how it is.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you got any final thoughts, Bill, on today's episode?
Nope, it's just been one of those days.
Yeah, I hear. It's been, honestly, last week was just one of those weeks in general, wasn't it? You're still getting used to your new schedule, though, so, I mean, I'll give you another week or so.
As soon as I get used to it, they change it.
Well, welcome to the world. That's just what happens, You get used to one thing and then it just magically disappears the next. Like
Yep, I don't like it.
like small, low gas prices. Get used to it and then poof, it's gone. It's like a magic trick, you know? Yeah, I don't have any final thoughts other than watch out for 4 inmates that are possibly armed and definitely high on their own supply. Because they're looming about somewhere in like the Virginia area. They'll figure that out. You know, it's the marshals. The marshals are really good at finding people, so they'll figure that out soon. Prepare for another potentially Afghanistan war, only this time in Ukraine and Russia. You know, have fun with that. And let's all raise a red Solo cup to Toby Keith and hope he gets better soon.
Yeah.
I think we can all agree with that. Oh, and maybe get some knee pads for Biden. That would be helpful. Maybe even one of those like inflatable suits, like airbag suits that it's like a backpack and they detect it, if you're falling and they just inflate. Maybe we get one of those for him.
Oh, that would be something, wouldn't it?
I wonder how much those cost. I'll have to look into that. Anywho,
I got an idea.
Go
I
on.
got an idea because I know what you're gonna do. So I want to flip the script a little bit.
Oh,
Yeah. I want to test how good you are at it. You do the Discord.
okay, I will. But is that going to ruin our mojo here with you always being the one that does it?
No, I'll do it from here on out. I just want to see you do it.
Okay.
You just can't say Matt will put the link in. You'll have to say you because that'd be.
I was going to say Bill, but he doesn't know how to do any of that, so.
Oh, don't let me edit. Holy.
Yeah, if he edits any of this stuff, we're going to be hearing each other 17 times, and there's going to be like loud banging and dog barks and whistles in the background. It's not going to be good. Maybe
person all like crazy.
Yeah, maybe like a shotgun blast going off. You never know with him. He's a little weird. He lives in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I'll do it. So I guess I'll throw it to you to throw it to me then.
All right, Matt. Why don't you tell everybody about the Discord?
Like Bill says every week, and it's my favorite line, I'm not good with long strings of numbers and letters either. But make sure to check out our Discord. Now, it's a great place to be. Myself and Bill occasionally hop in there, chat up with some of you guys, even just over like text chat as well. It's a great place to join, get announcements about stuff that might not make the episodes, get announcements about stuff that do make the episodes, and get announcements about stuff that we mentioned in 4 episodes and then promised not to mention again, yet still did mention. You all know exactly what topic I'm talking about there. In there's also information on our sponsor programs, ranging from any amount of money to a lot of amount of money, depending on what you want to do. So if you're a gaming community, if you're a business, a company, whatever, check us out there. You can also email us too. And all that information is located on the Discord. It's a great place to be, have some conversation. And like Bill says every week, there might be a time, might be an episode where we pick one of you guys that's in there to come on and give your opinion on something. And be the third dude for a day or an hour, however long. I don't even know how long these episodes are anymore. It's gone out the window. So
they're from start to finish. That's how long.
Yeah, exactly. They're from when I start talking to essentially when Bill says later at the end. Anywho, Bill, how'd I do?
Pretty good. Actually, you kind of almost put me out of a job, but I'm taking my job back.
No, you can have that job. It's okay. Because now now that you've thrown it all out of whack, I gotta throw it to you to finish the rest of the episode so that I can say later at the end.
Uh-oh.
So.
Oh, I forget your normal line. Well, this is a spot, huh?
You want me to take it over for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
all right.
It'd be better. At least it would sound more professional.
Okay. Well, I'll do it. So, like we say every week, if join the Discord, it's a great place to be. First off, if you don't want to join the Discord, you have any questions, comments, concerns, want to hear us talk about a topic, want to give your opinions on a topic, feel free to email us. 2dudeswithaview@gmail.com. We're always checking it. I check it daily, multiple times a day actually. So make sure to check us out there. If you do have, if you're unable to join the the Discord and you want to talk about sponsorship programs, anything like that, feel free to email us as well. We'll be more than happy to get back to you and let you know. Also, we started to release all the past episodes on YouTube as well. I'll put the link to that in the description of this episode. So we've started releasing all that. Again, like I talked about today with those inmates, there's additional visuals and, all kinds of little aids on there that help you see what we're seeing and understand what we're seeing, understanding and talking to you guys about more. So make sure to check that out as well. But with that being said, thank you all for tuning in to episode 11, the Two Dudes with a View podcast. Remember, Thursday, there'll be a brand new episode. We're calling them bonus episodes. So it'll be episode 11.5, 11 and a half. Like last week's was 10 and a half. But those are completely unscripted. Me and Bill literally sit down for an hour. We have 0 topics, and we just essentially say the first thing that comes to our mind. And like last week, we started by talking about, the Russia-Ukraine war, and then we got into gas stations, or we ended with what our favorite gas station was, and somewhere in the middle there was another topic I don't even remember at this point what it was. It was that random.
All over the place.
Yeah, but that's what the Thursday episodes are for, so make sure to check those out. Bonus episodes every Thursday, 7 a.m. EST, are released on all platforms. Same place, same great time, more content. You guys love it. With that being said, thank you for tuning in to episode 11, and we'll talk at you Thursday. Have a good one, guys.